Good morning.
Good morning.
How appropriate, Lisa, that you're actually giving stress tips in between speeches. How many of you seen the 1984 comedy Top Secret with Val Kilmer as a young crooner in World War II? One, two. Okay, good. There's this wonderful scene where he gets captured by some German soldiers and he's getting beaten up, and he kind of goes unconscious and goes into this sort of dream state. And Val Kilmer's character, his name is Nick Rivers, and he finds himself back in the hallways of his high school, and he's running around frantically saying, "Where's the chemistry final? Where's the chemistry final?" And he finds one student, and he says, "Where's the chemistry final?" And he turns to him, and he says, "All the exams are over. Haven't you been to class? It's the end of the semester." And Nick Rivers goes, No, I haven't been to class." And then he wakes up, and he's chained up, and he looks over his shoulder, and his captors are whipping his back. And he says, "Oh, thank God." I completely relate to this. We probably all have recurring stress dreams, and one of my recurring stress dreams is absolutely school. And waking up, or in the dream, suddenly, it's always the same, but it always has kind of the same end. Either I've enrolled in the class and I just have forgotten that I was in it, and suddenly I realize midway that I had not gone to any of the classes, or it's almost the end and it's finals time and I haven't read any of the books. Regardless, it's incredible fear of just academic failure coming, no matter what. So this is a recurring theme. I also have another one that sort of evolved over time, which was after college. Now I have a recurring dream where I'm driving on the freeway, but I'm driving from the back seat, and I'm reaching out, barely holding onto the wheel, barely able to reach the pedals, and I'm looking over the dash, blurry-eyed, and can barely see. Again, another sort of panicked state. This isn't good. But my favorite one is probably due to my fear of deep water, thalassophobia, is being in scuba gear, underwater, in the middle of the ocean, in a shark cage, and not a very good shark cage for that matter, locked in there, and suddenly it becomes untethered from the surface and starts to slowly descend into the dark abyss. I know my fate, and I know it's going to take a little while, and it's not fun. These are not fun dreams. We all have recurring dreams, and if stress was just relegated to the mind, maybe that'd be okay. But we all deal with stress in physical ways too over time. When I first started work, I went through a phase where I was sweating too much, and I didn't know why. I was like, I'm just sweating. So I went and toured the deodorant world, trying to find some solution to solve my ailment. And then I had acne problems and things that would spring up when I was an adult. And I was like, why am I getting acne? It was just sort of felt like it was maybe due to stress. Then another period of time where I was grinding my teeth for years and had incredible jaw pain, and I had to wear a mouth guard. And what was odd is that these were phases. They came and went for some reason. And I don't have these problems now. And so it just left me puzzled, what changed? What gives? So I think about it, and I'm guessing that most of you probably could feel the same way about this, but there's a couple things that I think contribute to this over time as we age. And two, desensitization and perspective. So as we deal with continuous stress on an ongoing basis, incrementally getting worse over time, change, challenges, crisis, we get kind of tolerant to it. And we start to be able to withstand these things, and they become familiar, and you say, this stuff happens to me all the time, and I'm okay. So you get more comfortable with it. And honestly, I'm under more stress now than ever in my life. I feel like I have more responsibilities, yet I have a little bit more calm than I did previously. And then there's perspective. As you start to see and experience more and see the world, you realize that your problems aren't that bad. And especially for me, it's seeing other people's lives and some of the strife that they have to deal with, I realize I've got it really good. Even my worst day is probably still a basket of first world problems. So that perspective really helps with just kind of dealing with stress. But I worry about stress management as I age. and what it'll mean later on in life. I have a perspective on retirement that seems like it should be kind of the easy life. You take a break, you relax, you step away from responsibility and stress. Calm, comfort, contentment. But I'm starting to wonder if that is the way I want to be and what I want to focus on. I've had a bit of a reflective period. I'm 41 right now, and earlier this year, in January, my mother passed away at 71. And so I'm a little bit more reflective around what that's going to mean for me when I'm 71. And the things I think about are, what's going to happen to my stress tolerance as I get older. If I back away from those stress tests and thinking about constantly being subjected to stress, am I entering into a negative cycle of enduring less stress, having less capacity to deal with stress, therefore staying away from stress? And so it's really got me thinking and questioning, how do I approach and how should I think about these types of things? And so I want to tell my 71-year-old self a few things, but I absolutely know that I am trapped in the shark cage of my 41-year-old brain and mindset. I have no business telling myself how I'm going to think, how I'm going to feel, and how I should be when I'm 71. But I don't care. I'm going to anyway. So here's what I want to say. Is I want to say, stay engaged, stay active, embrace stress, tackle on more stress, look for responsibility, look to be engaged, and find purpose. And I think these are the types of things that will keep me going and keep me in finding purpose and meaning. And so that's something that I think is pretty critical, and I want to pose a challenge to my future self, which is 30 years from now, I'm asking myself to give a speech, to come back, and to tell me how wrong I was. And so that's the challenge I'm posing and the reflections that I've got. And put me on the schedule. Thank you.